Welcome to the channel, guys. Today we're going to be talking about the new release from Zoologist, Bee. So stay tuned for that. And if you like the content, guys, hit that like and subscribe button. Really do appreciate it. Now, as a Canadian, I actually have a bit of a thing for Zoologist because they're a Canadian niche brand, and I personally really like their aesthetic. I like the idea behind the brand, but I haven't really found any fragrances that I like enough to buy. I decided to go ahead and actually blind buy Bee because I love gourmands. This sounded like something I would really enjoy, and I really want to have a Zoologist in my collection. So I went ahead and did that. Now, I was lucky enough to get one of the limited editions, so it does come in this nice yellow box with the honeycomb design on the plastic, which actually I really like that aesthetic as well, so it adds a nice extra dimension to the purchase. And it does come in this nice case, and the bottle, as always, the presentation is absolutely gorgeous. I mean, really, to me, Zoologist represents the artistic side of perfumery, and the bottle is no exception. Beautiful cap. I love the artwork here, if you can see it on the bottle. So you get a nice queen bee, I'm guessing, and a nice, cool, aesthetic bottle design. So aside from the aesthetic, the artisticness of the presentation, what about the fragrance? Well, I will say this one is not, to me, a full-on gourmand fragrance. It does definitely have those aspects, but it really comes off a lot different. Now, of course, in Zoologist fashion, this is a unique fragrance, and I think we've all come to expect that from every fragrance that they offer is a very, very unique scent profile. This one does certainly have a honey vibe to it, especially in the opening. There's a very strong waxy component. So it's like this waxy, sweet, slightly floral vibe that is actually quite enjoyable. There is also quite a prominent ginger note in the opening, which gives it a bit of a zing. I find, especially in the opening, this is one that can be a little bit too strong if you overspray it, and this is a fairly beast mode fragrance, so there's no real need to spray it a lot. But it is definitely one that can be very, very strong in the opening, and that ginger zing really does add a nice dimension. But again, this is something that can be overdone. This fragrance is somewhat one-dimensional, not entirely. I find that this one changes from a nice waxy honey fragrance to something more along the lines of a sweet gourmandish honey, and then back to a nice waxy component. The florals kind of intermix in there to what degree I actually pick them up. The ginger is definitely strongest in the opening, but tapers off as this fragrance progresses. And I would say if you're looking for the kind of honey fragrance that's very sweet and gourmandy, something like Wajan, which among other things has a very prominent, delicious honey note, this is actually quite a bit different. To me, it comes off a lot more like a outdoor beehive. You get those florals as well from the pollination, and it really does create this nice honey beeswax floral accord. The performance of this one, as I mentioned, is also quite strong, so this one is fairly loud, especially in the opening. I get really intense sillage for the first hour and a half, that I find, especially if I spray it a little too much, it's too much for even me. And so I do find this is one you don't need to spray a lot of. Honestly, 2 sprays probably goes a long way with this one. It's very, very potent. The scent bubble, the scent cloud is also very nice. It projects off the skin quite nicely for those 2 hours. There's still quite nice sillage after that point. It doesn't die down to a skin scent, so it is something that performs really well, and I do get around that 8-hour mark with it, maybe a little bit more. So this one does perform excellently. This is a unique fragrance that I don't know that I would wear it in the summer. It definitely has, it could be dressed up, it could be a classy fragrance, but this is something I also could see wearing casually. But this is actually a nice spring scent or fall. I don't know that I would wear it in the summer just because of the heat. I think it would be a little too much with this one. And in the fall, it would do well as well because it has a lot of those transitory vibes to it, and it does work with the fact that it has gourmands, but it also has florals, and it works really well. This one could be worn in the winter, and I guess the main reason I don't think about that one first is it's not as gourmandy as I was thinking or expecting it to be, but it is very, very potent and very strong, and it does have sweet elements, so it's certainly something that you could pull off in the winter quite well. This one was not a disappointment. It is very unique, very interesting, not what I was expecting, but I should definitely have come to expect that from Zoologist by now, because they always release something different from what I expected to smell like. Always something unique, always something niche for sure. But if you do like honey fragrances, this is definitely one that you should check out. It does smell really good, and you might really, really enjoy this one. Anyways, guys, what's your favorite from Zoologist? Leave a comment down below. And as always, don't forget to comment, like, and subscribe. I'll see you guys in the next one.